Hi, this is Margaret Byrd, and welcome to Color Quest. And welcome to a quick spring forage time in Tambark Park near my home outside of Seattle, Washington in the Pacific Northwest. I am returning to these woods after what feels like about, 5 months of rain. We have a semi-sunny day out, and I've decided to go poking around for a springtime treasure known as stinging nettles. And if you watched my video from last year, you know that stinging nettles stung me in more than one way, and that is that I was hoping to get some green in my dye pot. And although I got some remnants of green, I really struggled. So when one of our viewers here at Color Quest sent me some Stevia and mentioned that she got green from Stevia, I thought, why not pop out, see if I can grab some fresh nettles and work with the dry Stevia that Marilyn from Florida sent me and do a comparison. Who knows, maybe this time I'll see some green. So let's go foraging. All right, so I have my little basket here. I've got gloves, some scissors, or rather pruning shears, and a little basket. And I'm actually gonna return to the places where I went last year. There were just two that had quite a bit of stinging nettle. I'm gonna go back to those and round up a little bit now. And then I'm going to take them straight to my dye pot. I am not going to let them sit. I'm not going to freeze them like I did last year. I will let them sit for an hour or two in case there are any little critters on them. Let them scurry away. And then these are going to go right into my dye pot. And at the same time, I'm going to put the dried Stevia in for a little bit of a soak so that they can maybe waken up that color inside of their leaves as well. And then maybe I will be pleasantly surprised with a little spring green. So there was one place here that when I was walking one time, a woman rode by with her family on a bike, and she stopped suddenly because she took a corner rather quickly, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I just got stung by nettles." And ever since that moment, I've always come back to this same space, and guess what? There are nettles growing here this year as well. So these nettles are actually already pretty tall. I'm gonna guess they're close to 6 or 8 inches. So what I'm gonna do is look if I can find ones that are a little bit closer to the ground. For example, this one is quite small, as well as that one. And there's quite a few all around this big tree here. So I will collect a small handful, put it into my basket, and then I will go to one other area where I was able to find quite a bit last year as well, and we'll see how those are doing there. That one's a nice small one. Guess what? It already got me. Oh my goodness. You can really see those. Look at those stingers. Doesn't take much, but trying to film and cut, takes a little bit of talent. I did have somebody that I heard from, not directly, that said that she actually forages for nettles without gloves because she feels that it is a rite of passage to experience the sting of nettles if you are wanting to bring it into your space. Thought that was kind of a nice way of thinking about things, even though it might be a little painful. And I already got a little sting All right, let's see what else I can find. Wow, they are everywhere around this tree. Loads and loads of stinging nettles. Wow, so many. I'll look for the smallest ones and cut them up. I feel as though I have a good amount here. I will test out around, see if I get green here for Color Quest. And if I do, I might come back out and forage for some more in a few other locations here in Tambark Park. Time to head back. I'm gonna go put these out on my back porch, let the critters have an hour or so to make their way elsewhere. Ooh, that sun is strong. I'll keep an eye out for them while I work on cutting the leaves up and putting them into my dye pot. And we'll get that stevia going and soaking for a little bit. And yeah, we'll go from there. Let's see what we get. Such a beautiful day here. Oh, I really needed some blue skies, I have to say. And being back out here in this little forest right by my house is just super sweet. It has literally been raining for what seems like forever. And I don't often use my front path. I'll go through my garage, and I came out here yesterday and I was so surprised, like pleasantly surprised, in a little spring welcome that I had right here, so I thought I'd show it to you. Check this out. I'm telling you, they just bloomed like suddenly overnight. Isn't that just gorgeous? Bleeding heart. Such a beautiful plant and such a sweet way to welcome in the spring season here after so much rain. I just love them. Look, they're like little kisses, little hearts. I love you, Color Quest community. I will carefully remove these things, taking daring moments there. Little insect friends, it's time for you to find yourself another place to live. So we'll let this sit out here for a little while, along with all of my other dye treasures. I will be filming about this very soon, because this is what starts to happen when you get involved with natural dyes. I've never really shown it here, but yeah, I have a fun plan for all of these random dyes that I've collected over the last, oh gosh, year and a half, many of which I don't even know anymore what they are. I'm gonna have some fun. So here's the stevia that Marilyn sent me. Got quite a bit in there. And as you might imagine, it's dried. It's traveled a ways. I'm gonna go ahead and get it soaking just in some water here and see if I can even coax out a little color just putting it in some water like we did with the hibiscus that Marilyn sent, and actually the bougainvillea does the same. Get those soaking in a little bit of tap water for a couple of hours, maybe even overnight. It's like a tea. Can never tell if that first bit is actually color or just the reflection of the leaves onto the spoon. I'd almost venture to guess that it's already giving up some green. I don't know. Pretty. Overnight soak. What do we think? Ooh. Let's see. Looks brown. Knows what it's gonna translate. Let's get that in the pot. Put in some fiber, see what happens. Add a little bit of water. I'm going to cook it on a very low temperature. It's easy for green to turn brown, and it's already a little bit brown. It's a little bit lighter. Slow heat. Right, here is the fresh stinging nettle that I cut. I let it sit out overnight. Now I'm going to cut this up into smaller pieces. We always want to do that, so we have a little bit more surface area when we're using natural matter for dye. And I will slowly work my way chopping these up, trying to avoid stinging myself. Normally I wash things, or often I will wash things. I'm not going to wash these. Just going to avoid removing anything from them, both for safety reasons in terms of not wanting to get stung, but also just, I don't know, wondering about, I don't know, washing away some chemical that's on them. Natural chemical maybe that is part of the dye process. No clue, by the way. That's just me playing a guessing game with myself. I'm going to treat them the same way that I did the Stevia. I'm gonna fill this with water, just enough to let them soak for a couple of hours and see if any color comes out. I think I'm gonna start just with cold water and let them sit. And then I will slowly heat them up like I'm doing with the Stevia. You can use just hot water and pour it over and just let it steep like a tea. I tried that as one method last year. Didn't really do anything different than some of the other ways. So let's see if a cold soak might coax out a color first, and then we'll do a slow heat. Here it is after just about an hour. So we're already getting a little bit of color just in this cold water. We'll let that sit for another hour. I put a test piece of fiber in to sit with the Stevia. It has a sort of yellow green, maybe slightly brownish tint to it. I think what I'll do now is strain out the Stevia itself and then try some different fibers as well as ones that have been pre-treated differently with different mordants and see what we get out of this. So this is the Stevia. It's had a very low heat yesterday and then a cool down in the pot. It's got kind of a similar color to the Nettle. It's a little more golden. Now I'm going to put the other pieces in. Friends, if you joined me last year, you know that I was not able to really get a green from the nettles. I'm trying these spring nettles. All I did was put them in cold water. And look at that. That is not green. So the chances of this producing a green on fiber, I think, are pretty slim to none. So I may go on record here as saying that I am now 100% convinced that the nettles that grow in my forest do not produce green. I'm going to show you. I'm going to pour them off into a jar so you can see the color. It's a beautiful color, it's not green. It's a really pretty, like copper brownish green. It's pretty. And it hasn't changed the color of the nettles themselves at all. They're still that vibrant green, but that color is really dark and it is not green at all. In the light, it's a pretty, it really has this kind of, I don't know, I'm calling it copper. I don't know if that's what you would call it. Definitely has an interesting color. I read that nettles have a lot of iron in them. Maybe that's the right metal to describe it. Don't know. But that ain't green. I poured it back in. I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit another day. I really don't anticipate it changing into green, but I read that it can continue to change. I think I tried that last summer and never did. Oh my gosh, but this will definitely be the final test for me because I really tried different things and this just isn't the green nettle of other natural dyers experience. Mr. Nettle, Mr. Tambark Park Nettle. There you go. It's time to strain these off and just go for it. See what I get. Who knows? It looked pretty green actually, so maybe the fibers will turn green. It's not gonna be that like ice cold green that the stinging nettles seem to give over there in Europe. That's okay. On our Pacific Northwest nettles. So I gave up on my nettles, giving me green, and I've just let them sit now for several days. Look at that. It's a beautiful dark brown. I guess it could have a green undertone, but it's amazing how dark the color is. So I'm okay with that. Well, I need to be okay with it because I don't get to choose these things. Nature provides. I just get to celebrate. So here are my Pacific Northwest nettles. This is what I get. Let me rinse it, dry it, and we'll take a look at it compared to the Stevia. So this video today was supposed to highlight Stevia, and once again Stinging Nettles pulled me in to its little web of green promise and did not provide that. And although I don't have Stevia local to myself, I want to thank Marilyn again for sending it to me so I could try it out, and she was right. It does have a sort of greenish hue to it, certainly more so than the nettle. So to my friends who have gotten green out there from nettles, why don't you tell me a little bit about it down in the comment section below. And if you feel like sharing some of your nettles with me, I'm always open to receive care packages of the natural color variety. So I don't know much about any medicinal qualities of Stevia except for the sweetener variety. And of course, nettles have a long history and an incredible list of wonderful health benefits associated with them. So next week, I'd like us to look at another weed that has some incredible medicinal qualities, and that is the dandelion. So join me next week as we go dandelion picking and see what color they might be hiding in those vibrant yellow petals. Have a wonderful week, and I will look forward to seeing you again here on Color Quest next Friday. So why don't you join me next week as we listen to all of that incredibly loud traffic over there.